Breaking. Did Bambi just snap on camera and send Tasha K straight to the ER because baby? This ain't a storyline, this is a mugshot waiting to happen. Imagine pulling up to set, thinking you're filming another messy confession for VH1, only to leave in a stretcher with a medic asking you how many fingers they're holding up. Yeah, that part, because according to witnesses, Bambi didn't just throw shade, she threw hands. And Tasha K's head caught the wrong end of a makeup counter. Blood everywhere. Screams echoing through the green room. Cameras, oh, they were still rolling, baby. So now we gotta ask what really went down. Was this self-defense, a setup, or did Bambi finally lose it after one too many clapbacks from the queen of controversy herself? Miss Tasha, I sue everybody K. And let's not pretend this was just a petty catfight. Nah, this might be the reality. TV assault of the decade, and the footage just leaked. Grab your popcorn and call your lawyer because this scandal, oh, it's about to spiral. And if you think this ends with an apology post and a notes app statement, you must be new here. Let's get into it. So let's rewind the chaos and walk back into the green room that turned into a war zone. Because what happened wasn't just was a full-blown televised meltdown. This wasn't your typical reality TV drama with side eyes and snarky confessionals. No, this was fists, screams, blood, and a studio that may never recover. And at the center of it all, Bambi. Yes, that Bambi. The one who swore up and down she was unbothered, unproblematic, and just trying to raise her kids and sip tea in peace. But when Tasha K showed up with receipts, attitude, and a smirk that could curdle milk, something inside Bambi snapped like a hairline under pressure, according to multiple on-set insiders who've conveniently chosen to remain anonymous. Of course, the whole thing escalated in under 60 seconds. Cameras were rolling for a reunion segment. Glam squads were retouching edges and highlighter. Then, in walked Tasha K, uninvited but definitely expected, waving her phone and taunting Bambi with what she claimed was the real truth about her relationship with Scrappy. Nobody expected her to actually show up, especially not after the threats, the lawsuits, and the viral shade she'd thrown online. But here she was, in the flesh, bold, smug, and micked up. The air in the room thickened instantly. Bambi told her not to come close. Tasha K laughed and took 2 steps forward. Witnesses say it was like watching a volcano boil, except nobody moved fast enough to stop the eruption. Bambi lunged. There wasn't time to react. One push, one misstep, and suddenly Tasha K went flying back, her head connecting with the edge of a makeup counter with a sickening thud. Blood hit the floor. Stylists screamed. Someone dropped a ring light. And Bambi stood there frozen, eyes wide like she had just woken up mid-nightmare. And the worst part, the cameras never stopped rolling. One producer reportedly screamed into their headset to cut the feed too late. The damage had been done, and the footage had already been captured from 3 angles. Medics rushed in, security scrambled to contain Bambi, and Tasha K lay on the floor barely conscious, her trademark wig slightly crooked and blood pooling beneath her. Chaos doesn't even begin to describe what happened next. Paramedics loaded Tasha onto a stretcher while someone from the crew whispered into their phone, "She really did it, she actually did it." Meanwhile, another assistant was seen frantically trying to wipe blood off the studio floor before legal arrived. And just as everyone thought the moment couldn't spiral any further, Erica Mena, of all people, posted a blurry clip of the aftermath on her story, captioned only with the words, "Told y'all, she's dangerous." That clip went viral in under 15 minutes. Twitter exploded. Fans were reposting, remixing, speculating. TikTok creators had already turned Bambi's scream into an auto-tuned soundbite. One influencer posted, "This ain't love and hip-hop. This is jail and hip-hop." The backlash was immediate and unforgiving. VH1's official account went silent. Tasha K's camp issued a statement within hours confirming she had suffered a mild concussion and would be taking legal action. Meanwhile, inside VH1's executive offices, panic set in. A closed-door meeting was held before sunrise. Legal was called in. PR scrambled. Contracts were reviewed. One executive reportedly asked, "Are we liable if we never stopped the cameras?" Another said, "We might be, but the footage is gold." And somewhere in the hallway, Mama D, who had just gotten done filming her own messy confessional, was overheard saying, "Y'all didn't listen when I told you she was a ticking time bomb." And she wasn't wrong. Bambi was already unraveling. She was spotted pacing outside the studio barefoot, mascara running down her cheeks, mumbling to herself about how Tasha had ruined everything. She hadn't been arrested yet, but sources say security was instructed not to let her back on set. Spice tried to console her, but even she looked unsure about what side to stand on. "This ain't it, Bambi," she whispered. "This is not how we fix things." But Bambi wasn't hearing it. She kept repeating, "She made it all go viral. She lied. She twisted it. She made me look crazy." But now, Bambi was looking more than crazy. She was looking like a headline. Back at the hospital, Tasha K opened her eyes and reportedly asked, "Did the camera catch all of it?" When her producer nodded, she smiled weakly and said, "Then let's film the follow-up." That same night, a dramatic video was posted to her official YouTube. It featured slow-motion footage of her being rolled into the ambulance, a tearful monologue recorded from her hospital bed, and a chilling message: "I feared for my life. I will be pressing charges." Fans flooded the comments. Some called her brave. Others accused her of staging the drama. But one thing was clear: Tasha K knew how to control the narrative. Meanwhile, Bambi's management was on the brink of collapse. Her publicist quit. Her PR rep issued a half-hearted notes-app apology, which Bambi reportedly refused to post. Sponsors dropped out. VH1 temporarily suspended filming. And the network, trying to protect itself, quietly began editing Bambi out of upcoming episodes. One insider claimed they were even considering replacing her with archive footage and narrator voiceovers. But that didn't stop Bambi. Oh no! Instead of going silent, she doubled down. She went live from her apartment, face bare, voice shaking, but tone defiant. "Y'all wanna cancel me over one moment?" she asked. "Then cancel all of them, too. Cancel the producers who let Tasha show up. Cancel the network that encouraged this. Cancel everyone who watched me drown and handed me a mic instead of a life vest." The comments were brutal. Some fans praised her for speaking out. Others demanded she be arrested. But what shook everyone the most was what she said next. "If I go down, I'm taking receipts with me. And baby, I got plenty." She pulled out a phone and began scrolling. DMs, emails, voice memos, contracts. Her eyes gleamed. "Y'all wanted the truth. You're about to choke on it." And just like that, the script flipped again. Asterisk, asterisk. Backlash wasn't just knocking at Bambi's door, it had broken it down, kicked it off the hinges, and now sat comfortably in her living room, sipping all the spilled tea. But just when the internet thought it had its villain locked in, things got complicated. Because that live Bambi did. It wasn't just a rant. It was a declaration of war. She didn't cry. She didn't beg. She didn't even blink. She showed up with files. And not just any files, we're talking alleged leaked emails from producers, encouraging her to stay messy and deliver drama if she wanted more screen time. Viewers had barely processed her live when a YouTuber, known for deep dives, uploaded a full reaction breakdown, pausing on every screenshot, enhancing audio clips, matching times. The receipts started to look less like excuses and more like evidence. And then came the voice note. In it, Tasha K could be heard laughing with someone off camera saying, "The more she spirals, the better it'll play. Get her mad, and we got gold." The voice was unmistakable. Internet sleuths confirmed the laugh matched multiple clips from Tasha's past lives. The comments went from dragging Bambi to asking real questions. Was this a setup? Was she manipulated into snapping for the sake of viral content? And if so, how many other scenes were produced under that same manipulation? One comment summed it up perfectly. They wanted a breakdown. She gave them a breakdown. Now they want her arrested for it. Meanwhile, Tasha K's team was in panic mode. The hospital video had been her moment. The sympathy, the lighting, the tear-stained cheeks, it had painted her as the victim. But Bambi's bombshell had turned that entire narrative upside down. Still, Tasha wasn't one to back down. Within hours, she clapped back with a second video, this time heavily edited, with dramatic music. Cuts between Bambi's past reunion moments, and captions like "she's always been violent" and "her mask finally slipped." But the internet had started doing what it always does, digging. A new clip leaked, this time from behind the scenes of an unaired episode where Tasha was seen whispering to a producer, "She thinks we're cool. Just wait till she sees the next scene. It's gonna make her go nuclear." The laughter in the background wasn't edited, it was real. And fans were quick to connect the dots. Suddenly, this wasn't about a punch. It was about a pattern. A system. A production machine that allegedly fed off emotional destruction and packaged it for ratings. And that machine, it was starting to look a lot more dangerous than Bambi ever did. Back at VH1, lawyers were scrambling. An emergency review of footage was ordered. Cast members were told to stop going live. Phones were confiscated, and in a shocking twist, a rogue production assistant anonymously dropped a full 10-minute behind-the-scenes video into a blogger's inbox. It was uncut, time-stamped, and damning. It showed Tasha and a producer discussing Bambi's mental state, saying, "She's already fragile, we just need one more push." The moment that clip hit the internet, everything changed. Fans who had written Bambi off began reconsidering. Journalists who mocked her apology now had questions, and executives at VH1, they started drafting legal statements faster than they were editing footage. Meanwhile, Bambi stayed silent. No more lives. No more posts. Just silence. And that silence, it was louder than any scream. Speculation filled the gap. Some said she was in hiding. Others claimed she was negotiating with networks for an exclusive tell-all. But then, like clockwork, Tasha went live again. This time in full glam, sitting upright in her hospital bed, ring light positioned just right. Her tone, cool, collected, dangerous. "Don't let a few fake receipts fool y'all," she said. "I was attacked. That's still a fact. You can spin it, but you can't erase it." But even as she spoke, her credibility was bleeding out. Bloggers dug into past court cases. Old lawsuits resurfaced. Former collaborators started speaking anonymously. One said, "Tasha's game has always been about pushing people till they break. It's how she keeps herself relevant." Another added, "She tells you she's your friend, then sells your downfall to the highest bidder." All of a sudden, it wasn't just Bambi versus Tasha, it was a reckoning, a look at what happens when reality TV stops being reality and becomes warfare disguised as entertainment. Mama D, ever the opportunist, went live sipping her wine brand, now labeled Truth Juice, and said, "Told y'all, this would end in disaster, ain't nobody innocent in this mess." But even she looked rattled when Scrappy finally posted his cryptic countdown. No words, just a black and white photo and a timer. 24 hours. The internet lost its mind. Fans were desperate to know, was he about to take sides? Was he going to expose Bambi, or defend her? Theories flew everywhere. Some believed he'd drop voicemails. Others said he'd reveal that he warned Bambi about Tasha's tactics. But as the clock ticked down, one thing became clear. Nobody was walking out of this clean. VH1 executives met again in a secret off-site location. The words liability and lawsuit were thrown around like confetti. Insurance reps were brought in. Lawyers began preparing for the worst. One source leaked a chilling quote from the meeting. "If that footage shows what we think it shows, we might be responsible for creating the entire situation." Meanwhile, back in Atlanta, Bambi was meeting with a crisis PR team. Her goal wasn't just redemption, it was retaliation. According to insiders, she had more than just receipts. She had recordings, NDAs, off-camera footage. Allegedly, there were conversations with producers promising her favorable edits in exchange for emotional outbursts. Some even suggested she had texts from executives implying they knew what Tasha was doing but let it play out because drama equals ratings. And as all this boiled beneath the surface, fans started to flip. Twitter threads began detailing the manipulation, TikTokers uploaded timelines, even YouTube commentators started titling their videos "Bambi was set up." The shift was slow, but it was happening. Tasha's once loyal audience began demanding explanations. Sponsors backed out quietly. One major brand canceled a campaign just hours before launch. And through it all, Bambi said nothing, but she was watching, waiting, calculating. And when that countdown hit 0 and Scrappy finally went live, every single person involved held their breath. Scrappy didn't come to play games, didn't dress it up with filters or editing tricks. He just sat in front of his camera, face tired, voice calm, eyes heavy with a truth that had clearly been weighing on him for far too long, and the first words out of his mouth silenced an entire internet room because this wasn't a defense. It wasn't a denial. It was a eulogy to everything he thought was real. He said, "This ain't about sides. This about damage and survival." He admitted he knew Bambi had been on edge for months, that the pressure had been building, that the version of her everyone was dragging now wasn't the version he saw behind closed doors. The one breaking down, confused, scared, paranoid, and pushed to her limits by cameras and contracts and calculated betrayal, and then he dropped the bomb everyone was waiting for. He confirmed he had known about Tasha's manipulation way before the green room explosion. He said producers warned him not to speak, that the storyline was worth too much. and they needed Bambi to fall apart naturally for it to be believable. The comments were stunned, thousands watching in real time, realizing the line between scripted drama and emotional torture had not just been crossed, it had been danced over in red bottoms and monetized. Scrappy admitted he was ashamed, not just of Bambi's actions, but of his own silence. His failure to protect her when he saw her slipping, and the moment he said she wasn't just my wife, she was a target, and I watched it happen and said nothing. A wave of sympathy crashed across social media. Suddenly the villain wasn't clear anymore. The roles were all blurred, and the audience was left wondering who really lit the match. But just as Scrappy's live reached its emotional peak, another twist emerged. A leak, this time from a production assistant who clearly had nothing left to lose. They posted a raw, uncut clip from a producer's phone showing a private meeting weeks before the reunion. In it, Tasha is seen laughing with the editing team, pointing at footage of Bambi crying, saying this is what breaks her, lean into this, stretch it out, and the producer nodded, adding we need her unraveling to look real, let it breathe, give her hope then yank it. Within an hour the clip was everywhere, viewers shocked, media outlets scrambling. Even journalists who had taken sides now questioning their own coverage. Suddenly headlines were shifting. Phrases like manipulated meltdown and reality rigged started trending, and as pressure built, VH1 executives were forced to act. They released a stiff statement acknowledging that certain production decisions were under review. They called it a lapse in judgment, but everyone saw it for what it was: damage control in a storm they helped create. Meanwhile, Tasha K, who had been riding high on sympathy days earlier, now found herself cornered. Sponsors dropping, projects paused, her spin-off in limbo, and, the cherry on top, a judge froze her assault lawsuit against Bambi pending further review of the leaked production footage. In a stunning move, Bambi's legal team filed a counterclaim, citing entrapment, emotional manipulation, and breach of ethical production standards. Her lawyer read a statement saying no one's denying she snapped. The issue is why she snapped, and who lit the fuse, and the internet once again turned upside down. The debate now spiraling from a single punch to the entire structure of reality television itself. Think pieces poured in, influencers weighed in, podcasts were dissecting every second of audio and video like a criminal case. And while all this unfolded, Bambi stayed offline. Not a post, not a live, just pure silence. Until suddenly she reappeared, not on a network, not on Instagram, but in a dimly lit trailer that dropped unannounced on YouTube. A close-up of her face, raw, unfiltered, bruised metaphorically and emotionally, her voice whispering over soft piano music. You heard their version. You watched the edits. Now it's my turn. The screen faded to black. White text appeared. Bambi unspoken. A 4-part docuseries streaming soon. The internet exploded. The comments flooded in, half excited, half skeptical, but all watching. Because like it or not, she had everyone's attention again. And just days before the series premiere, another leak dropped, this time from a tech staffer who claimed to have processed footage from both sides, and they posted a screenshot of a confidential edit schedule titled Tasha Breakdown Cut a Final V2, which listed scenes weeks before the incident, labeled as bait, confrontation buildup, and emotional flip switch. The document sent shockwaves through the industry. Even rival networks began distancing themselves from VH1, and in a shocking twist, a former cast member came forward confirming that similar tactics were used on them during previous seasons, saying they were pushed to drink, to argue, even to betray friends under pressure from producers promising exposure and fame. By the time Bambi's docuseries aired, it wasn't just about her, it was about all of them, all the women thrown into chaos and told to entertain. Her series opened with footage never seen before, long quiet moments of her breaking down off-camera, producers asking her to cry again because the lighting was better, phone calls from Scrappy begging her to calm down while he secretly filmed confessionals behind her back, text messages from Tasha saying if you don't give them what they want, they'll replace you with someone who will. Viewers were stunned. The comment section turned emotional, people apologizing, fans admitting they judged too quickly, even celebrities started speaking out. One tweet went viral, reading reality TV just became a horror story and we're all guilty of watching it burn. But perhaps the most shocking moment came at the end of the final episode when Bambi walked into an empty studio, sat in the same makeup chair where it all started, and whispered, "I didn't lose my mind. I just stopped letting them direct it." Her eyes welled up, but she didn't cry, she just stared straight into the camera, daring the world to turn away. the screen faded out again, this time with 5 words no one expected to see: "This isn't over just yet." Within 24 hours, Tasha's remaining partnerships dissolved. Her legal team withdrew from the case. VH1 suspended production indefinitely and began a full internal audit. Multiple producers were quietly let go, and an independent investigation was launched into emotional manipulation and caste endangerment on reality shows. Meanwhile, Bambi's team announced a national speaking tour focused on the dark side of televised fame. And Scrappy, the man caught between love and silence, posted a photo of his daughter with the caption, "I'm just trying to raise her better than what we saw, and that was it. No sides taken." Just the raw truth of a family caught in a machine. The machine now exposed, and as the internet calmed, as the headlines slowly faded, one truth lingered in every viewer's mind. This wasn't just entertainment. This was exploitation. And no matter how many seasons you watch, you'll never unsee the moment a real life cracked for the sake of a storyline. And in that final silence, somewhere deep inside the now abandoned set, the cameras finally stopped rolling. So now that the dust has settled, at least for a minute, what do you think? Was Bambi just a ticking time bomb or a pawn in a much darker game of scripted sabotage? Did Tasha K go too far? Or was she just doing what reality TV demanded of her to survive? And let's not forget, Scrappy was his silence protection or betrayal. This isn't just some messy reunion drama anymore. This was a full-blown emotional demolition wrapped in hair and makeup and sold to us as entertainment. And if you think this is the end, think again. Because every exposed receipt, every leaked clip, every uncut scene, is just another piece of the puzzle they never wanted you to solve. So don't scroll past. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Tell us whose side you're really on, and what part made your jaw hit the floor. Are you Team Truth or Team Setup? And if you want to keep digging through the lies, the leaks, and the legal chaos, hit that like button, smash subscribe, and turn on notifications, because baby, we've got receipts for days and we're just getting started. This is the kind of drama you don't watch. You survive it. Stay tuned.